and let y'all do your thing. Have a wonderful interview.
Thank you.
When and where were you born?
Oh, I'm from Springfield, Ohio, which is a lot of miles from here. I was born April 10th, 1969 in Springfield, Ohio. It's a small town. It's much smaller than Dallas.
Where did you grow up through high school?
Where did I grow up? Well, I grew up in Springfield, Ohio. My high school was South High School, but it's since been closed, so it's no longer open. It kind of makes me sad, but I'm a graduate of South High School in Springfield, Ohio.
What did you do after high school?
Well, after high school, I went to the Air Force. I joined the Air Force. I left the Air Force and then I went to the Air National Guard. So in all, about 10 years of military service. And then I went to college and started becoming a reporter.
What is your opinion about the education of Dallas and why do you feel that way?
What is my opinion? I think there's been some improvement made in the education in Dallas, public schools. I think there's still a ways to go, but I have seen some improvement. There's a new superintendent, so we have to see how he does with the school system. But in previous years, there's been some improvement made, so that's a good thing.
Was there a teacher in your childhood life that had encouraged you? And if so, how did he or she encourage you?
Well, there was one of my high school teachers encouraged me to be a writer, and I got involved in the newspaper staff, and I really liked it. So I think, there's probably been a couple more teachers too, but I think my high school journalism teacher really encouraged me to be a reporter.
Have you ever dreamt of being a teacher? Why or why not?
It's interesting because I actually do teach. I teach a journalism class at TCU, Texas Christian University, and I really enjoy teaching. I like it a lot. I like working with kids. So I'm not like a teacher for really young kids, but I teach college students. So I'm in it.
Did you feel that all of your teachers were good teachers, or just one, a couple, or a few? And if so, why?
Wow, that's a really good question. I had some really good teachers, but then I had teachers that I didn't think were really good. And I felt that they didn't really care whether I learned or not. It was just, get this girl out of here, we're tired of her. So I felt that there were some teachers who I felt really cared about me learning, and I felt there were a few teachers that just kind of wanted to move me on, and they probably paid more attention to the really smart kids. And I was not a really very smart kid. I was okay, but I wasn't one of the brightest ones. So I think that my situation, there's been a few that I felt probably could have worked with me a little more, but
Like your former teachers, where will you see yourself in the next 20 to 25 years?
Me? Retired? No. That's a good question. Wow. I've only ever thought about the next couple of years. So where would I see myself? I'm hoping I'll be retired by then. If I'm not retired by then, I guess I'll probably still be a really old reporter. Because I really love reporting. And I haven't thought a lot beyond being a reporter. But if I'm not retired by then, I could see myself probably still writing, reporting, and at least teaching at the college level. I could see myself doing that too, because I love teaching.
Do you believe that the education of Dallas have changed over the past years? Why and why not?
I do believe that at least in the last 5 years that the test scores are better. Now, like I said, we have a new administration, so we have to see what they do. But under the previous administrations, I felt that there was a movement and the scores weren't going up. So it's kind of to be seen right now how they fare now. There's a new administration, they have, a new way of doing things, and so you have to see how it goes. But I think there's been progress made in Dallas schools, yeah.
Is the education of the school district different from 2012 to 2013 from when you was in school? If so, what is the difference and similarity?
Oh, that is so different. When I went to school, oh God, it was different. It was, for instance, holidays. There's holidays that, you don't celebrate a lot, like Halloween. They don't do that in schools these days. But I remember us being able to wear our Halloween costumes to school, and we did our own parade around the block. Security. You didn't have these systems where they scan your ID or metal detectors. I remember just walking in school, and anybody else could just walk in school. But so there's differences. I felt back then it was probably more laid back. Now back then I don't think we had the accountability, like everybody looks at test scores. I don't remember a lot of that. So that's probably, the not so good factor back then. There wasn't a lot of emphasis on accountability and looking at test scores. But I do like the days of just feeling almost more secure. We just didn't have a lot of these security things in our schools. And we got to really celebrate Christmas. Instead of winter break, it was Christmas break. So there's differences now. People are a lot more, I guess, cautious, more politically correct, I guess, I don't know. It was a little easier back then, I think.
Do you believe that the education of Dallas will improve a lot more by 2014? If so, why do you feel that way?
God, I hope so. It's hard to say. In Texas, there's a new state accountability test, and it's harder. So we'll see. We have to see how the kids do. I really hope it improves. For Dallas ISD, it's hard to say because they have new leadership, and he hasn't even been here a year, so we really don't know what the test scores are going to look like, if these new procedures and programs put in place are going to work out. It's just hard to say. It really is. I hope things are better, going into 2014 for them. So we'll see though.
Do you believe that the teachers learn new things while they teach their students in class? And why do you believe that?
Do you think the teachers learn new things? Oh yeah. I've been teaching for 10 semesters, which is like 5 years. And I think each class I have, I'll learn something from them. And you never stop learning. There's always something to learn. I teach a computer system reporting class, and there's just, a student is always pointing something out. I think when you stop learning, that's bad, because there's always something more to be learned. And you can learn from your students. I never disregard a finding by one of my students. My students teach me every semester. I'll learn something that one of my students discovered in Microsoft Excel or in a computer program. So I think I do learn from my students. And I think all teachers should.
When you was in school, was it difficult for you or an easy? What subject were difficult or an easy?
Well, school was, some subjects were more challenging. I generally did all right in like the English classes and writing classes. My hard subjects had to be like, maybe like, geometry. Science classes were very challenging for me. I liked doing, the experiments, but that was pretty much it. So I think my most challenging classes were math and science. Maybe that's why I'm a writer. I don't know. But those math and science were my hardest classes in school.
What is it like as a journalist?
It's fun. Now, you got some good questions. I'm proud of you. It's a lot of fun. It's every day for me is different because the news changes every day, right? So I have to, every day I might be doing something different. I might be writing about test scores. I might be writing about something that wasn't so great that happened in a school. I might be, at a school just visiting. There's every day is different for me. Some days I don't write a lot. Some days I write a whole bunch. What I like about journalism is it's just different, and I probably get really bored doing the same thing like every day. I like talking to people. I get to talk to lots of people. I'm kind of nosy. I get to be a little nosy. So it's a lot of fun. It's not like a job for me. I just really enjoy talking to people. I like informing the public. A lot what we do, we tell the public what's going on. We're almost messengers in a way. So I love what I do. I like it a lot.
Is it your parents or teachers that taught you everything you know?
I would say I learned a lot from my parents. Some things I learned maybe not to do it that way from my parents. I learned from teachers, but I got a lot of support from my parents. They saw potential in me, I guess. And I was not, if I brought home a C, that was like, you can do better than that. So my parents pushed me more. I learned a lot from my parents, especially my mother. And then when I went to the Air Force, I learned a lot there too. I kind of grew up in the Air Force. I went there almost after high school, so I was still like a teenager, on my own. So I grew up a lot in the military with my, immediate supervisors.
Is there a certain teacher or teachers would you like to see again?
Where I like what?
Would like to see again.
There's one, probably my journalism teacher, Mrs. Bush. She, Butts. I'd probably like to see her again. I haven't seen her in years. And I don't even know if she knows I'm like a reporter now. I don't know. It's been so many years since I've seen her. I'd probably like to see her. She'd probably be the one I'd want to see. That probably had the most influence on my life as far as what I do now. Yeah.
How long were you in college to become a journalist?
I felt like forever. But it really was like 4 years. Yeah, because I went to the Air Force, so since I was in the Air Force, they applied some credits from the Air Force from all my training to college. So I think I started college as a sophomore. So I bet I was there for like 3.5, 4 years. So it wasn't that long. But after then, I did an internship. So I actually was working at a newspaper while I was still in college. So it was, it was fast for me because I was already, before I graduated from college, I was already a journalist. So it didn't seem that long.
How long have you lived in Dallas?
Oh Lord, this area. I live in Arlington, but I guess it's Dallas area. We got here in 93, so I've been here a while. 93 is when we got here. Yeah. So, what is that, like 20 years? Yeah, something like that. So it's been a while. I like it here.
Was becoming a journalist was your first choice? If not, then what were your other choices and why didn't you stay with those decisions?
That's a good question. I guess becoming a reporter was my first choice. I went to the Air Force because there were 10 of us at home. and we couldn't afford to send me to college, so I went to the Air Force, and I got what they call the GI Bill, which helps you go to college. So I went to the Air Force and ended up going to college, and my college was paid for because I had went through the Air Force. So I've always wanted to be a reporter. Was my first choice, so it feels good to be doing it.
What do you feel are the biggest issues facing kids my age today?
Oh Lordy, the biggest issues facing you guys to me are the cost of college is so high now, where you have to be very proactive about applying for grants, knowing how to apply for loans. And it's challenging because college is so much more expensive, and also you need to go to college. When I was growing up, if you had your high school diploma, it was like, oh, she's got a good diploma, she could probably get a decent enough job. But nowadays, it seems like you need more. You need training beyond high school to get a decent job, especially as a woman. So to me, that would be the most challenging for young people now, is to make sure they get some kind of training beyond high school, and also to find out about different grants and loans, because college is just so expensive right now.
What are your day-to-day tasks like as a journalist?
Yeah, well, I usually get in, I check my emails. Well, actually, before I even get out of bed, I'll look at our blog. We have a talk live, it's for DISD, and I look at that to see who's talking. I go through Twitter,